Hi, everybody. This is Saad. As many of you know, I've been a professor now for almost 30 years. And as you might imagine, given the personality that I have and the positions that I take and my irreverence toward the orthodoxy and being someone who speaks my mind as I see fit, because I'm not willing to modulate my uh, words, my thoughts, my actions. Uh, it has at times created fissures with colleagues. Several years ago, and I'm going to come to a recent episode involving my friendship with Tucker Carlson, but several years ago, the evolutionary biologist David Sloan Wilson, with whom I had a very nice friendship. Not only were we colleagues and I respected his work greatly, he was very kind to invite me twice to SUNY Binghamton, where he pioneered the evolutionary studies program, and where I was trying to set up a similar program, first such program in Canada at my university. I had hosted him in 2009, I think, at my university. He had come to our home. My wife had cooked him a meal. We were friends, and all was great. Great guy, great scientist. And then one day, I had been communicating with someone about Barack Obama, and this person had said something to the effect of, "I have to say, I find nothing at all sleazy about Obama." And I wrote, "Because you are enthralled by his, quote, radiant smile and his, quote, eloquence, full of hope and empty, vacuous platitudes. He is the worst kind of sleazy. He lulls you into a false sense of warmth and hope and change, hope and presidential, quote, elegance. BS artist of the highest order." So I'm basically saying that Barack Obama is an empty suit. And to use a term that many of you have since heard me say, he makes you get drunk by smelling the cork of the wine bottle, right? He is so radiant with his smile. He is so tall and thin and majestic. Of course, every single syllable is utter bullshit, but my goodness, he is so presidential. That's all I said. So then this ruptured my relationship with a colleague with whom I had wonderful relationship. This is David Sloan Wilson, who wrote, "My good friend Gad Saad, this is you at your intolerant worst. Please find your misplaced humanity." And then I had written, I had replied, "My opinion about a former U.S. president and sharing my disdain for him is a manifestation of my, quote, misplaced humanity. Really, David Sloan Wilson? So I either must love Obama or else I am less than human. I either love him or I'm intolerant. Those are my only choices." And he had previously, he meaning David Sloan Wilson, gotten upset because I had referred to Nancy Pelosi as being, a viperous, a viper, a snake, a venomous viper, or something to that effect. I can't remember. And then again, he was very unhappy. Now, of course, reasonable, mature adults with dignity recognize that on issues such as politics, people can disagree. You know, David Sloan Wilson is not the arbiter of what I'm allowed to say and whether I like Obama or not. But apparently, me thinking that he's an empty suit caused me to, lose my humanity. And he hoped that I can find my misplaced humanity. I had done a Saad Truth clip a while ago. Now, why am I saying all this? Because, as you might imagine, uh, some academics are now coming out of the woodworks because they are very displeased with the fact that I have positive things to say about Tucker Carlson, right? I mean, Tucker Carlson is just, how could any moral human being have anything nice to say about Tucker Carlson? If you remember, my cousin, who was my closest friend growing up in Lebanon, we were tied at the hip. He's my cousin. He's blood. He's a second cousin, but he's family, my closest friend. We went through the Civil War together. There are moments that we went through in the Civil War together that should bond us for 10 lifetimes. When I returned from my trip to Florida last year, where I went to see Tucker to do his long form show, he had written, he meaning my cousin, written to me on Twitter publicly chastising me for having no shame. Really? You have no shame? You have something nice to say about this guy? I mean, it's unbelievable, right? Okay, anyways. So here we are now. This is kind of the lead in to Dr. Paul J. Watson, who's an evolutionary behavioral ecology and psychology adjunct associate professor. He's at University of New Mexico. I can't remember if I had met him or not in 2006 when I had been invited to speak to the evolutionary behavioral science group when my first book was coming out, The Evolutionary Basis of Consumption. They have an amazing evolutionary group. And so yesterday I had put out some stuff, saying that, kind of offering my support for Tucker, that he's a great guy, a decent guy. So here's what Dr. Watson wrote. Now, look at the dripping aggression, how condescending it is. But I'll just read it. It's very nice. Now, this gentleman has never, I have posted a million things on extraordinarily, quote, contentious issues, but he's never seen fit to comment. But boy, when I said something nice about Tucker, that's just beyond the pale. That's just intolerable. So he wrote, as you've become acquainted with Tucker's many positive personality traits, have you noticed whether he has anything like a conscience? Now, imagine how arrogant. Remember Thomas Sowell, the vision of the anointed. Imagine how arrogant you must be to write to me publicly. He didn't write to me privately. This is on LinkedIn where everybody could see, where he is with all, venomous irony. In Arabic, you say nesnese, okay? He says, but does he have a conscience? Do you know if he has a conscience? Because Tucker Carlson has moved from being human to being something subhuman. Does he have a conscience? Have you been able to see if he's got a conscience? Remember, David Sloan Wilson said, your misplaced humanity. So this is the progressives. These are the tolerant folks. If you have a friendship with someone with whom I disagree, you lose your humanity. You are no longer part of the family of Homo sapiens. So I wrote back, because I created Nesnese. No. Don't try to pull passive aggression on me. So here we go, Dr. Watson. Hi, Paul. It's nice to hear from you. Yes, I can confirm that Tucker is a very decent human being with a conscience and a moral compass. He may not be as moral as Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden, and especially Hunter Biden, but he truly is a lovely guy. I'd love to hear your thoughts, though, on why you believe that he is potentially bereft of a conscience. Cheers. When you come after the king, you best not miss. You're going to do even bigger things, Tucker. I'm with you, buddy. Cheers.